Crysis, also known as that game where the US government uses their taxpayers' money to build a super badass nanosuit so they can turn their ordinary soldiers into super soldiers.
Yeah, like that's ever gonna happen.
Also notorious for the Can It Run Crysis meme, which stemmed from the fact that the game was so graphically advanced when it came out in 2007 that even serious gaming PCs couldn't handle it at maxed out settings, and the people who tried ran the risk of starting a house fire. Crysis quickly became a beloved franchise and saw the addition of 3 more games before disappearing off the face of the earth in 2013. Anyway, fast forward a few years to 2021 and the Crysis fandom are frothing at the mouth for any crumbs of info regarding the future of Crysis. And wouldn't you know it, EA blessed us with a brand spanking new remaster. Apparently they are working on Crysis 4 though, but I'll believe it when I see it melting PCs on TikTok. Until then, I guess the remasters will have to be enough. The remasters aren't anything insane in terms of graphics, so unless you're playing it on the Nintendo Switch, yes, that's a thing. The whole Can It Run Crysis meme is kinda irrelevant, so instead the question in this video will be, can it run the Crysis Platinum? Crysis Remastered has a total of 41 trophies including the Platinum and takes around 10 hours to complete. Most of the trophies will pop naturally just by going through the campaign, with the only catch being that you have to beat the game on the hardest difficulty. There are no collectible trophies, and whatever trophies you have left after beating the game can easily be cleaned up using the Mission Select feature in the menu. Now let's go. When I start the game, I immediately have 6 of the 41 trophies because that's just how good I am, and definitely not because I played the game for an hour a few years back. These trophies were mostly just campaign related, but there was a strange one for picking up an animal, which I will now demonstrate in a 1-to-1 recreation. I gently put the crab down before making my way to the first combat encounter. I suspect the guards on this island spend their free time snorting G-Fuel by the bucket load because I almost got turned on by the first enemy I shot at. In my defense, I forgot to put on my silencer and the aiming felt pretty weird, but just like you, the next enemies didn't care about my incompetency and put me in the grave quicker than I gave up on my calculus exam. Unlike my calculus exam, my second attempt went better and I reunite with my squad mate Chester. We made our way towards our other squad mate Aztec, who managed to get himself stuck in a tree when we were skydiving onto the island. Something starts attacking him and we rush to help him, or at least I rush to help him, because apparently Jester's suit lacks the ability to sprint. Either that or he owed Aztec some money he wasn't keen on paying back because Jester wasn't rushing anywhere. Upon reaching Aztec, I'm treated to a jump scare that made 8-year-old Poozney spray paint his underwear a light shade of brown. But not this time though. With a push of a button, our team leader, Prophet, very humanely vaporizes Aztec, which made me realize I didn't want to ask Prophet about those extra vacation days anymore. Desperately trying to stay on Prophet's good side, I put in some unpaid overtime and popped a trophy for completing 3 secondary objectives. I continue sneaking toward my main objective, and I really want to emphasize the word sneaking, because the AI in this game have better eyesight than a photographer hoping to catch a nip slip at a red carpet event. Honestly, the devs could have added a trophy for using your cloak ability 1,000 times and I would have popped it before reaching the 3rd mission, I swear. I'll tell you what there are trophies for though: killing 200 enemies and regrouping with your squad at this shipwreck. Our reunion gets interrupted moments later when Jester gets grabbed by this flying squid thing. It's at this point I realize that my suit must be the only one that came with the ability to sprint, because Prophet and Psycho are in no hurry to save Jester. Karma really is a bitch, isn't she? As you can imagine, we were too late to save him, but I can't say I was sad for too long because I got a trophy for rescuing this lady who was held hostage soon after. Or at least, I would have gotten a trophy if I didn't have it already, so maybe there's still some sadness left in me. Anyway, I progress through the mission and regroup with Prophet, which is where another trophy would have popped. The next chapter kicks off with Prophet getting abducted by a flying squid, and once again, I'm all on my own. At this point in the game, I've learned the hard way that I need to move around more carefully if I don't want to get gunned down like it's Normandy every 20 seconds. So, to level the playing field, I started using my binoculars, slapped a bigger scope onto my rifle, and got 2 trophies from a safe distance. I got humbled almost immediately after that when the game reminded me that it's not Battlefield 2042, because this game actually has destruction. I dragged my slightly bruised body and gravely wounded ego to the excavation site, which is where another story trophy would have popped. Now just imagine this trophy for sprinting 3 kilometers popping, and we're all caught up with the trophies I already had from 3 years ago. Side note, I just realized that Jester and Prophet could never get this game's platinum purely because of the sprinting trophy. That's a skill issue if I've ever seen one, but I digress. I get a pair of trophies at the end of the next mission for completing the mission and for completing Act 1 on Delta difficulty, which had me feeling like this NPC, not gonna lie. During the next 2 missions, I was bagging so many trophies I felt like that kid at school who always won all the awards. I got 9 trophies in about 30 minutes, 5 for blowing stuff up, one for doing more side objectives, one for 400 kills, one for getting my tank to the end of the mission, and the final one for completing the mission.
I'm touching myself tonight.
Next, I used all the weapon attachments and did the last side objective, which was kind of weird because I was only like halfway through the game. This mission ended up taking me a while, partly because of the sheer number of guys I had to kill, but mostly because of these heads in nanosuits being super tanky. These guys took so many shots, it's actually insane. Reminds me of my dad when I told him I was quitting university. I do get through it though and finish the mission, popping another trophy. I ventured deep into the mine and got caught eavesdropping, which led to a boss fight against this guy Kyong. He was pretty easy though. I just used cloak to get behind him and then dumped my magazine into him. I kept doing that until he gave me this trophy, then finished the mission along with Act 2 of the game. The next mission is where the game completely shifts from fighting human enemies to fighting the alien squids. First, I prepare myself by fully kitting out my gun with attachments. During the mission, you end up floating around in zero gravity, which made aiming slightly disorienting, so I just waited for the squids to come at me head on so I could rearrange their facial features with the surgical precision of my shotgun. Immediately following that encounter, I go into this alien tube thingy, which legit gave me motion sickness, so I wasn't a huge fan of that, but getting this trophy after completing the mission definitely made me feel better. Remember when Prophet got abducted earlier? Well, he's back and he brought me a gift in the form of this sick alien gun that has infinite ammo. Conveniently, it's also the final weapon I needed to get a kill with for the Weapons Master trophy. Prophet's suit was badly damaged though, so I had to escort him to safety, but at least he gave me a trophy for my trouble, so I can't complain too much. I died a lot in the next mission because of these stupid anti-air guns not being able to aim high enough, but I succeeded eventually and got that mission's trophy. Now that everyone's been evacuated safely, this guy decides that nuking the island is our best play, but it only ends up making the alien squid stronger. An unfortunate result really, because I probably would have done the same thing, not gonna lie. So of course I had to fight this enormous thing, and I'll be honest, I was very confused and died a few times, but really all I had to do was just keep shooting it until it died. I know it sounds obvious, but trust me, it wasn't. Then I had to blow up this even more enormous thing with what was basically a tactical nuke launcher, but after doing that, I got another trophy. This leads to the final cutscene and 3 more trophies for beating the game and for beating it on Delta difficulty. After finishing the campaign, I was 92% done with the platinum, so there really wasn't a whole lot of cleanup to do, and it only took me about 30 minutes. I had to get a kill from 200 meters away and choke dudes the way your girlfriend wishes you would choke her. I killed an enemy nanosuit soldier with a strength punch and killed 10 guys by throwing stuff at them and got the platinum. Overall, I really enjoyed going for this platinum despite Delta difficulty making some parts way more annoying than it needed to be, but I guess that's the trade-off for the convenience of not having to look for collectibles. But that concludes the platinum for Crysis Remastered, so thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.